Hi there, it's Joy from the Abundant Living Community. With me today, I have my fiance Ryan because over the past few weeks, we've been really working on integrating a new style of communication. About 2 weeks ago, we visited a dear friend and mentor of ours, Heather Steele, and she shared with us this process of think, act, feel. And what that entails is when you're in communication with someone, you react or respond to what they say. And you either react or respond by feeling it first, by thinking something through, or just by reacting. And what we've found in our relationship is that we have different dominant reactors. So, for example, I am a think, feel, then act person. So I really think things through, lay out all the options. Then I take into consideration how I feel about the situation, feel about the options, and then I act.
I'm exactly the opposite. I'm a feeler. I have been since I was a little boy, that I can have a gut check and an intuition on whether something is right or wrong, or a yes or a no. And it's very clear to me. I've then since learned to use my logical brain to quote unquote think about it to come up with an appropriate action. And I've also found that before we understood this concept, that a lot of times, because she's a thinker and I'm a feeler, that we found ourselves at an impasse, or at least at a very ineffective way of communicating.
So by integrating this new concept of think, act, feel, and identifying where each of us or how each of us responds first, we're able to communicate in a way with each other that supports our dominant responses. So what supports Ryan is if I phrase questions on how do you feel about this? How does it make you feel when I do this? How do you feel about going shopping versus going to the movies? And then in exchange, if Ryan asks me, how do I feel about this? It may take me a little longer to process through how I feel because my response, my dominant response, is really thinking through the process first, and then I get to the feeling stage. So by knowing where somebody has their dominance, it can support you in how you communicate with them, whether you phrase the question, what do you think about this, or how do you feel about this? So how do you determine if somebody is a think, feel, or act dominant individual? The great thing is that they will tell you by the way they communicate. So when Ryan asks me questions, I respond with, I think we should do A, B, then C. And then vice versa, when he's responding to a question, he says, well, I kind of feel like it should be like this. So people will give you cues on what their dominance is. So check in with first where you think you stand. Are you a think, feel, or act person? And then be listening to those around you for their cues.
And here's an added bonus if you want to put your growth in hyperdrive. Take a moment to, once you recognize what you are, a thinker, a feeler, or an actor, and go ahead and allow yourself to put on the hat of the opposite of that. So if you're a thinker, go ahead and give yourself some time to try feeling first. We've had an amazing experience with that. Joy being a thinker and allowing herself to feel really allowed us to have a lot of growth in our relationship. So be sure to try that on. It doesn't mean you have to throw the baby out with the bathwater on what your dominant response is, but sometimes if you're looking for growth, you can find a lot on it by taking a different perspective and trying on a different hat.
So let us know what you think about that. Of course, shoot us an email if you have any questions, and make it a great week.